Hello, I welcome you back to this amazing Excel training or tips. My name is Abraham and I'm glad to have you back on my channel. Before I start, I want to encourage you. I want to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have quite a lot of content already in the channel and I have a lot of them still coming. In fact, at this moment, this particular period, we are focused on a particular area of knowledge, but soon more are coming into that channel. So I encourage you to subscribe and be part of the great number of people that are already enjoying the good things happening on the YouTube channel. All right, today we will be discussing, we'll be looking at a very powerful function, not just one. We'll be looking at these three powerful functions, or let me just add one and make it four. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the SUMIFS. We're going to be looking at the COUNTIFS. We're going to be looking at the MAXIFS and the MINIFS. These are very powerful Excel functions. The SUMIF function will help you to sum your value based on given criteria, but this criteria is based on multiple criteria. So the SUMIF takes a single criteria, but the SUMIFS means that you have multiple criteria. The same thing goes for the COUNTIFS. The COUNTIFS, counting value using multiple criteria. And then also we have the MAXIFS for highest value within a range with a certain given criteria. And then we also have the highest value, minimum value or the lowest value in a range given a certain set of criteria. So SUMIFS with multiple criteria, COUNTIFS with multiple criteria. So join me in the class as you look at this amazing tool that will solve a lot of big problems in Excel for us. So let's go into the class. All right, welcome back to the class. Now, in this particular session, we are going to be looking at these great four functions: the SUMIFS, the COUNTIFS, the MAXIFS, and of course the MINIFS. But before we go into looking at the SUMIFS and all this, let us look at the SUMIF. Now, SUMIFS sums value based on multiple criteria. That means you have multiple criteria with which you want to sum value. But let's first of all look at the SUMIF. So if I'm going to sum values in this table from this particular master table on the left side, I want to sum values based on the criteria that is given here. The criteria here is carrot. So I want to know what is the total sales of all the carrots that exist in this table on the other side. Okay, what is the total sales of all carrots here? So what it means is to pick the values of carrot and all values of carrot and sum them together. So if I put equals SUMIF, so I have range. My range now will be the product, which is the criteria range. So I can pick from the top here, which is B colon B, or highlight the range if that's what I want to do. So the advantage of picking from the top is that if you have if you don't have any other type of data below this your table, then you should just simply pick it from the header. Just click on this header and you have B colon B. That is fine. That will help you to escape absolute referencing. Then the next thing that this screen tip is asking from us is the criteria. So which is carrot, because that is the first value in the criteria table. Then the sum range is the values we are summing. So which is this. Control Shift down, I can select everything instead of using the mouse button to select. So I just use the Control Shift down cursor key on the keyboard. Okay, so now as it is, if I press enter, I have the total of the sales of carrot. I can drop this down, but for the sake of absolute referencing, this particular thing needs to be turned into absolute reference. There's a complete session on absolute reference and relative reference and mixed reference where I explained what references means. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel to find that. I explain what referencing is in detail. So I can copy this formula down, and you can see I've been able to sum by that. But what if I have another criteria, and that is I am to sum all carrots from United States? So I have the SUMIFS has only been able to give me opportunity to pick one criteria. But now I have a second situation. It has to be from United States. It's not just any carrot sales. It's specifically carrot sales from the United States. Okay, so how do we do that? So we are going to say equals sum. So I'll use it in uppercase. It's not case sensitive, but just for so SUMIFS. So the first thing that the SUMIFS is asking for us from the screen tip is the sum range. So where is the value? I'll just pick it from the top here. I'll pick the header, which is D column D. Like I said, you can highlight, use your mouse to highlight to the end, or just pick from the header if you don't have any other type of data at the bottom. Then criteria range 1. The first criteria we're using is product. So after a comma, I put the criteria range 1. That's what the screen tip is asking from me. The second thing is the first criteria, which is carrot. Sorry. After you put a comma, and after that you put the criteria. So it's asking for the first criteria. Then now I have the second criteria, which happens to be the country. So it's asking for criteria range 2. So I'll just provide the country as the criteria range 2, and I'll put a comma and provide the criteria itself, which is United States. Okay, United States. And that United States has to be absolute. In other words, that place has to be fixed so that if I'm copying the formula downwards, it doesn't change. Now, this is the sum of all carrots from United States. That is what it means. So you put all carrots together from United States, and using the SUMIFS, we are able to know the sum of all carrots from the United States. Okay, good. Now, we can also know the sum of all carrots, the counts, the number of sales from United States by using the COUNTIFS. COUNTIFS. So, what is the criteria range 1? Of course, the criteria range 1 is the product, B column B, or I highlight it downwards. Then the criteria itself, after a comma, is carrot. Then what is the second criteria range? Country. And what is the criteria itself? United States. And like I said, we need to make this United States absolute. Absolute reference by putting $I$H to that. And then we close the bracket and hit enter. So carrot was sold in United States 10 times, for broccoli in United States, from United States 4 times. The highest of all sales is banana. It shows that the people from United States love banana so much. Now, we want to use the MAXIFS to know the highest highest sales of carrots overall. Highest sales of carrots overall. That is irrespective of location, we want to know the highest sales of carrots overall. Okay, so we will go to this place and type equals max ifs. There's no max if, there's max ifs. So we have the max range. Now the max ifs can be used, to get the maximum value from a range of data. So this is saying what is the max range. All right, what's the max range? So this is the max range. This is where we are getting the maximum value from. That's the max range. It has to be a value. What is the criteria range? Which criteria are you using? You want to get the maximum sales of carrots. You want to get maximum sales of broccoli. So you pick product as the criteria range. Okay. And then what is the criteria itself? It's carrot. So you pick the first one, which is carrot as the criteria itself. Okay. So I'm just trying to drag this screen tip to where we can see it very well, because I have something to explain here. Now, something must have gone wrong here. So let me correct that. So I have the max range. I have provided the max range. That is where we are picking the maximum value from. I've provided the criteria range, which is B:B, that is the product. And the next one is the criteria, and which is carrot. Now, at this point, if what you want is just for any place, for carrots or whatever, max from anywhere, you just close this, you hit the enter key, and you are good. So this gives you the maximum sale from anywhere. But now, if you want to be specific, then you take it further. Okay, so that was why I was trying to drag this for you to see. You take it further. So this has provided you with criteria. What about the second criteria? So you want to go further. You want to say the second criteria range is country, and the second criteria is United States. And don't forget, we'll make that United States an absolute reference so that when we drag down, it doesn't miss. So for highest value of sales of carrots from United States is this value. The highest value of sales of broccoli from United States is this value. So what it means is that it gives you the highest value, the highest sales value from that. So if you from United States product, so it brings all United States together and picks the highest. Now, if you want to pick the lowest, you go for MINIFS. So max ifs, and MINIFS will work for whether a single criteria or multiple criteria. But if you are using SUMIFS, if you use SUMIFS, is for single criteria. If you use SUMIFS, is for multiple criteria. So if you are doing single, you use SUMIFS. If you have multiple criteria, that is more than one, a station whereby you are looking at criteria from both the product and from the country, then you use the SUMIFS or COUNTIFS to count. Now the MINIFS combines the two. Whichever one you do, you stop there. And if you want to take it to the next, of course you do. So the mean range is the value. You pick it, D:D. The criteria range is the product. You pick that. What is the criteria itself is carrot. You pick that. So that is hiding in the corner there. I need to bring it out. Okay. Just That is it. So now that is criteria 1. Then what is the second criteria range? That is country. And what is the criteria itself? That is United States. And then you make that absolute reference, dollar this, dollar that. So you press enter, you get the lowest value from sales of any of these products from United States. Now the beauty of this is you can come here and change this to Canada. Canada. You press enter, you see that all the values change. Total. So there was no sales of product of carrot from Canada. This was what we have, and there was no. So because there was no sales, there was no highest value, no lowest value. And if you come here again and you type United Kingdom, you have that. And so you can see that that table looks dynamic. And if you want to make it to choose a list, why not? You can use a list from you can create a list from the data validation tools and use that. But if you want to know how to create a list, subscribe to the YouTube channel and find my video on how to create validation list in Excel. All right, so this is where we are going to stop this amazing Excel tool. So see you in the next session, another time, when we'll be looking at something interesting again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and share with others. Bye for now.